Imagine a gigantic guy. Now multiply that by 2, and you have Paul Dillett. That's the kind of athlete the bodybuilding community likes to call a freak of nature. It's not an exaggeration. Dillet was a true mountain of muscle. At the peak of his career, during the off-season, he weighed an incredible 150 kilograms, 330 pounds. In the 90s, he faced legends like Dorian Yates, and many considered him a real threat in competitions. You might have come across photos of this giant on the internet, some even exaggerated with Photoshop. But the truth is, Dillet had one of the most impressive genetics bodybuilding has ever seen. His physique combined extreme size, insane definition, and striated muscles, creating an almost unbeatable package. But if he was so impressive, why did he never win the Mr. Olympia title? Was he born in the wrong era? Well, if you're curious to learn more about this giant, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because in this video, we're going to uncover the true story of Paul Dillett, including a dramatic episode where he almost lost his life on stage. But before we continue, if you enjoy my work and want to support the channel so I can make more videos like this, become a member. It won't hurt your pocket and makes a big difference to me. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates. YouTube will understand that this content deserves to be seen by more people, and you'll stay updated on everything happening. Now let's dive into the video. Born to a French father and Jamaican mother, Paul was born on April 12, 1965, in Montreal, Quebec, one of Canada's great cultural hubs. From a young age, he showed incredible physical prowess, which led him to explore different sports before finding his way into bodybuilding. Before building his legacy as a bodybuilder, Paul had a brief stint in the Canadian Football League, CFL, playing football. His imposing presence and standout musculature caught attention, but destiny had a place for him on bodybuilding stages, where his name would be immortalized. In 1991, he made his professional bodybuilding debut, securing second place in the heavyweight division of the North American Championship, one of the most respected competitions at the time. By 1992, he came back stronger, winning both the heavyweight category and the overall championship, signaling that he was ready to take on the sport's biggest names. Paul quickly became a regular figure in the most prestigious competitions. In 1993, he competed in the legendary Arnold Classic, finishing in an impressive 4th place, an exceptional achievement considering he was still in the early years of his career. That same year, he replicated this placement at the Ironman Pro Invitational, once again proving that his name was among the greats in the sport. His debut at Mr. Olympia, also in 1993, earned him 6th place, a notable position for someone competing for the first time on bodybuilding's biggest stage. But it was in 1999 that Paul Dillett achieved his greatest success. He won the prestigious Night of Champions competition, taking 1st place and solidifying himself as one of the sport's strongest forces. With his unbelievable physique and blessed genetics, Paul became one of the most photographed and respected athletes in the fitness world. He appeared in numerous bodybuilding and health publications, including the cover of the renowned Muscular Development magazine, where his impressive physique was admired by all. Despite all these achievements, Paul never forgot his humble beginnings and the circumstances that led him to bodybuilding. When asked how it all started, he always fondly remembered, "I was a big fan of wrestling, especially guys like Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson. I wanted my older brother to start training to look like them, but he was too lazy. So I said, you know what? I'll do it myself." That's how, as a teenager, he began training in a small, makeshift gym at school, a windowless, smelly basement room, but a place where he felt at home. For 6 months, he trained every day, never missing a session, developing a discipline that would shape his bodybuilding career. This humble beginning was crucial for Paul to build the willpower and dedication that would take him to the top. He knew that to succeed, having an impressive physique wasn't enough. It required consistency, daily effort, and a mindset focused on achieving what seemed impossible. Nicknamed Frankenstein for his incredible and intimidating physical presence, Paul was part of a select group of bodybuilders during the 90s, a period often referred to as the golden era of modern bodybuilding. Among the giants he competed against were legends like Shawn Ray, Dorian Yates, Kevin Levrone, Ronnie Coleman, and Flex Wheeler. This elite group elevated the sport to new heights. Every time they stepped on stage, fans knew they were about to witness something spectacular. The competition between them was fierce, and Paul acknowledged that the high level of his competitors was what constantly pushed him to improve. He often said that if it weren't for the rivalry with these bodybuilding monsters, he might never have become the top athlete he's remembered as today. The respect among competitors from that era was remarkable. Everyone wanted to win, of course, but there was a mutual recognition of the greatness each one brought to the stage. Each competition was a true battle of titans, but at the same time, there was a deep respect for the hard work and dedication of their rivals. This made that era a historic milestone in the sport, as the rivalry only raised the level of each performance. However, not everything was easy for Paul. In 1994, he faced one of the most critical moments of his career. During a competition, his body simply didn't respond as it should, leading to a collapse on stage. What should have been another spectacle turned into a terrifying episode that nearly cost him his life and, according to many, marked a turning point in his bodybuilding career. In bodybuilding's sacred history, one of the most memorable episodes of the Arnold Classic doesn't involve a champion, but rather a traumatic moment on stage that forever marked the sport. This moment wasn't about a grand victory, but about the fall of one of the most impressive competitors bodybuilding had ever seen, Paul. For those present, it's hard to believe that almost 30 years have passed since the fateful 1994 Arnold Classic, where Dillet's collapse on stage became one of the most dramatic and remembered moments in the sport's history. Backstage, in the hours leading up to the judging, Paul, one of the favorites to win the competition, was facing a critical situation. In pursuit of an extreme definition, so dry he looked like the Sahara Desert, he was suffering from severe cramps, the result of excessive diuretic use, a common practice at the time, but one that would turn his body into a ticking time bomb. When it came time to hit the stage at 11:55 a.m., Paul exuded confidence, though he was in great discomfort. He positioned himself with his back to the judges, ready to impress, and attempted a double biceps pose. However, as he raised his arms, something went terribly wrong. His muscles seized up in a terrifying way, and he was unable to flex or lower his arms. What followed was a moment of panic. Paul abruptly descended from the stage and collapsed backward onto a table in the theater. The scene was chaotic, and he was quickly surrounded by other competitors and assistants, including the legend Flex Wheeler, who immediately advised him to drink fluids. Even amid the chaos, Paul tried to reassure everyone around him, saying, "I'm fine. I'm not delirious. It's just a muscle spasm." But the situation was far more serious than it appeared. That collapse not only marked his career, but also served as a warning about the dangers of excessive substance use in the quest for perfection, which can put one's life at risk. It took 25 minutes for Paul to return to the stage to attempt his compulsory poses again. The audience, having witnessed the earlier collapse, greeted his return with deafening applause, hoping he had overcome the critical moment. Though visibly weakened, Dillet fought with all his might to complete the poses. However, when the time came for the famous double biceps pose, the crowd was once again struck with shock. Paul's muscles seized up once more, repeating the distressing scene from minutes earlier. With a grimace of pain and a desperate cry of "Oh God!" it was clear that the situation was grave. Immediately, an official from backstage rushed to help him. With his massive 122 kilograms, 269 pounds frame, Paul was quickly carried off the stage, taken behind the curtains where paramedics awaited to provide first aid. The problem was extreme dehydration, caused by excessive use of diuretics, a common practice among bodybuilders seeking the driest physique possible. In Paul's case, the effect was devastating. His superficial veins had collapsed, making it difficult to administer and to stabilize him. Despite the severity of the situation, Paul remained conscious and lucid, without trying to heroically force his way back onto the stage. He understood the seriousness of what he was facing, and by his own decision, he was taken to a local hospital. After 3 hours of intensive care, Paul was released and shocked everyone by showing up at the evening finals of the competition. In a symbolic gesture, he stepped onto the stage once again to address the audience, expressing his disappointment at not being able to finish the event. Flexing his powerful biceps, he made a bold promise: "When I come back next year, I'll be a freak." His resilience was met with a standing ovation, and his attitude only reinforced his reputation as an athlete determined to overcome any adversity. However, this hunger for glory in the world of bodybuilding was pushing competitors to dangerous extremes. Paul's incident was just another reflection of an alarming trend growing in the sport, where the quest for first place led athletes to risk their lives. Extreme dehydration and the use of dangerous substances were becoming common. For many in the audience at the Arnold Classic, Paul's screams on stage served as a grim reminder of a recent episode. Less than 18 months earlier, Mohammed Ben Aziza, another big name in bodybuilding, had died hours after the Dutch Grand Prix, a victim of a heart attack caused by severe dehydration. For some, the question wasn't whether Paul Dillett could win that show, but whether he would survive the challenges posed by such risky practices. It's well known that despite being one of the most genetically gifted and massive athletes, Paul Dillett was never able to fully master the art of posing. This technical flaw kept him from going further in competitions, even with a physique that impressed everyone. Throughout his career, this difficulty was one of the main factors that kept him from the Mr. Olympia title, despite having the physical potential for it. Many experts and fans believe that if Dillet had been able to refine his stage presentation, he would have achieved even more impressive results. This challenge with posing, something many bodybuilders must tirelessly train for, became a stumbling block in his journey. And this is an important lesson in bodybuilding. It's not enough to have huge muscles. It's essential to know how to present them properly. After ending his competitive career, Paul didn't distance himself from the sport, but decided to venture into entrepreneurship by founding the WBFF, World Beauty, Fitness, and Fashion, a bodybuilding federation established in 2007. Unlike traditional competitions, the WBFF focuses not only on the athlete's musculature, but also on overall aesthetics, stage presence, and even charisma. The idea was to create an event where amateurs and professionals could compete in various categories, considering not only muscle symmetry and volume, but also the ability to captivate the audience and judges with their stage presence. This reflects a new vision of bodybuilding, where beauty, posture, and attitude count just as much as muscles. The WBFF grew rapidly, becoming one of the most popular federations for those seeking a balance between physique and artistic performance. Today, Paul resides in Toronto, Canada, and is fully focused on his entrepreneurial career. He runs the WBFF with the same drive that took him to the top of bodybuilding, transforming the event into a global reference. His transition from competitor to businessman has been successful, and he continues to inspire new athletes pursuing a career in the fitness world. His legacy in the sport is undeniable, both as a bodybuilder and as an entrepreneur. What many still discuss, however, is the excessive use of diuretics, something that nearly cost him his life in 1994 and remains a controversial topic in the sport. Diuretics are widely used to remove excess water and make muscles appear more defined. But the price some athletes pay for this practice is extremely high. Paul Dillett is a living example of the dangers associated with this strategy, and his experience serves as a warning to new generations of bodybuilders. Now, I want to hear your opinion. What do you think of Paul Dillett? Do you believe he would have gone further if he had mastered the art of posing? And what's your take on the excessive use of diuretics in bodybuilding? Should the sport adopt stricter rules to protect competitors' health? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And, of course, share this video with your friends. especially those who need to be aware of the dangers and challenges faced by high-level athletes. Don't forget to leave your like and hit the bell so you don't miss any new videos. It motivates me to keep bringing more content like this for you. See you next time.